if you attempted to roll that window down, what would have happened?
In this case, the window had to been rolled up, and I don't believe it would have stayed intact.
Okay, now let me ask you this question. You started, your observation about the window not remaining intact was the beginning of your answer to the question about whether the window was open or shut at the time the bullet impacted it. So explain to the jury how you were able to determine whether that window was open or shut at the time the bullet impacted it.
Certainly. When I got to the Lake Murray Police Department to process this vehicle, the window was in the up position. The glass had been shattered. The only reason that the glass was in place was because the window tint was holding it in place. So for that window to have been down at some point, shot through, and then rolled back up, in my opinion, it would not have stayed together.
Okay, now your trajectory analysis. Explain to the jury. Well, let me ask you, did you use what's called a trajectory rod?
Yes, sir, I did.
And explain what that is.
It's basically a metal dowel. It fits inside the defects, or the bullet hole in this case, and then the angles can be determined from that flight path.
And using that dowel rod, did you identify what are called fixed points of reference with respect to your use of that dowel rod?
We did.
What were the fixed points of reference with respect to the dowel rod?
The fixed points of reference in this case was the actual window itself where the bullet went through, defect C, which was the main bullet that had gone into the headliner, and then defect E, where it had terminated into the frame.
And by use of that dowel rod, is that the way that you would determine the path of that bullet?
It was.
And extending that dowel rod inserted into the fixed points that you just identified, extending that back to the window, where did it terminate on the window?
We actually ran the rods outside the window as well, so it came out all three of those points and then out to where the flight path where it had originated.
What 3 points are you referring to?
Defect E, which is the frame piece, defect C, which was the headliner piece, and then defect A, which was the actual glass itself.
So extending the dowel rod? Well, let me withdraw that question. Showing this sort of a identification. 5N as in Nancy, 5M as in Michael, 5K, 5J, 5H, 5G, 5C, 5B, 4Y, 4W, 4V, 4S, 4R, 4Q, 4P, 4O, and triple U.
No objection.
Okay, triple U will come into evidence as State 79.
And we've got 4O will come in as 80, 4P 81, 4Q 82, 4R 83, 4S 84, 4V as in Victor 85, 4W 86, 4Y 87, 5B 88, 5C 89, 5G 90, 5J, is I in there? I did. I, 5I. Okay, 5J will be 91, 5K 92, 5L 93, 5M 94, 5N is a nickel 95. Yes, you may. Since I've already been introduced into evidence, you're going to put them on the thing. Could you just have them describe them from there? Never mind.
I'd prefer for him just to look at it first, just so he knows what I'm showing. Can you look at that, please? Mr. Goodman? You recognize those photographs?
Yes, sir.
And just generally, I'm going to put them up on the overhead in a second, but generally, what do these photographs depict?
These are photos that I took on scene while doing the trajectory work.
First, let me, do we have a laser pointer?
I don't have it back.
There it is. With the use of the laser pointer, I'd like you to explain each photograph as I put them on the overhead. So, first, let me show you State's Exhibit 79.
Those are the defects in the headliner above the driver area of the Honda Ridgeliner.
Can you use a laser pointer, please?
Here and here.
And let me ask you, what is this photograph depicting from back to front of the vehicle? In other words, is that the windshield that we see in front of us there?
Yes, sir, that's correct.
And let me show you State's Exhibit 80. What does that depict?
In this case here, this is defect C, this is defect D, and this is the rod work going inside of the headliner.
Now, where is the end of that rod inserted into?
One end is going to be in the glass where it first came in at defect A, and defect E is where it's positioned into the frame.
And defect E is what you determined to be the major core, the major part of the bullet that indented the door, the metal door frame above the door?
Yes, sir.
We show you 81. What does that depict?
Same thing, and just a little bit farther back so you get a little better reference.
Okay. And Mr. Bickley, instead of me asking you the same question in every single photograph I show, in each photograph that shows the rod extending back to the window is as depicted in the photographs, the left side of the rod inserted into those two fixed points. Specifically, defect E, the metal indentation in the metal frame of the car, and defect C, the hole in the headliner.
They are.
Each one of these photographs that show the rod.
For this photo here, yes, sir.
And the other photos that show, I'm asking for each photo, so I don't have to ask you the same question every time.
As I recall what you showed me, yes, sir, I believe they're all the same.
This is State's Exhibit 82.
Taken from the back seat area where you can actually see it inside C starting to extend out over towards the window.
This is 83. What does this show?
This where it's actually, the headliner has been removed and you can actually see it in defect A now over towards the window.
Defect A or defect E?
It's in E and it's extending all the way over to A, which is the window.
Okay. Showing State's 84.
Taken from the back passenger area, again, it's in defect E, which is where it terminates into the frame. The rod is inserted and back towards defect A, which is the glass.
Showing you State's Exhibit 85.
This behind the driver's side, now looking at that rod as it goes out towards defect A, which is the glass itself.
And based upon this trajectory analysis, that a dowel line being inserted in the two fixed points, specifically E and C. Is that the position of the window when the bullet impacted it?
It is.
State's Exhibit 86.
From the backseat area, again, in this case, the headliner is removed. It's inserted into the defect in the frame and then back over towards the glass. From the driver's side, looking towards the window where you can see the rod out through the glass. Same area, just a little bit closer this time so you can see where it actually goes out the glass. Even closer still, so you can actually see the exit and I'm sorry, the entry point a little bit closer. '90 is outside of the vehicle itself, looking straight on at the defect where you can see the rod coming out from the EC area.
91.
From the front of the vehicle, you now can see the rod and the angle as it comes out of A.
92.
From the back of the vehicle, and now you can see the rod coming out as it the camera's facing towards the front, and you can actually see the rod coming out of the A.
93.
We've extended out the rod, so it's inserted into the EC area coming out of the area, the glass where it entered, and we're following that line down so you can see the path of the bullet.
94.
For my notes, I'm just making notes of the protractor work and for my angles.
Is that your hand in the photograph?
It is, sir. This is a little bit closer. Again, 90 degrees was in, and you can see here it's right around, right at the 85 mark. Again, this is just for my notes. I do much more work than what you're seeing. I just document what I'm doing.
I have just one or two more questions. Mr. Bigley, how do you know that the defect C in the headliner relates to defect E in the frame? Because there are two holes in the headliner and there are two defects, in the frame and the wire right below the frame. How can you determine that the hole or defect C in the headliner is the defect that relates to E, the projectile, the piece of the projectile that went through C, terminated at E?
Through our rod work, the path where it hits the glass and it breaks off into those two pieces, it's very distinct. It's very easy to follow that area through our rod work to determine which is which.
I have nothing further.
Thank you, Cross.
Thank you, Your Honor. Morning, Mr. LeFay.
You went out to, as a crime scene investigator, you were asked to show up, and you did, and you were asked specifically to do work with regard to the bullet trajectory, et cetera.
It is.
And you made a report about that, correct?
I did.
You were not asked to do anything about the window tint, is that right?
Correct.
You didn't go out there to analyze or check out or determine anything with regard to the window tint, correct?
That's correct.
Indeed, not really mentioned in your report, correct?
That is correct.
Now, you did tell us that, the prosecutor asked you, standing outside, you went window by window, of course. Could you see within the vehicle? And you said, no, you couldn't.
That's correct.
And one of the windows that you mentioned was the back window. So I'm going to show you books 59, which is the photo of the back window. And just ask if you're able to see inside the car.
What I can see is tinting, and you can,
I didn't mean to interrupt. Go ahead, Mr. Baker.
I see a tinted window, sir.
Okay. Do you see the headrests in there?
It looks like you can make out the headrest, yes, sir.
Okay. So, I'll just use the other head first. So basically, looking now. Let me strike that if I may, Your Honor. Mr. Bigley, when this photo was taken, of course, there was no sunlight coming in the front windows, and I'm now having my hand 58 because that's all blocked with that sunscreen, with the big sun shield, right?
In that photo, it is blocked with sunscreen, yes, sir.
Okay, so here, and I'm now showing you what you looked at 59. Just looking at the back, you can see, you know, the headrests, and you can see something hanging off of the front in the center, correct?
Yes, to comment to what you're saying, yes, sir, I can see what you're pointing at.
If I could just take 1 moment.
Yes, you may.
Your Honor, I have no further questions, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Redirect.
I have no questions.
May Mr. Bigley be excused?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you very much, sir. You are excused.
Thank you.
For your next witness?
May we approach, Your Honor, please?
Yes.
The state calls Leroy Parker.
You may proceed.
Thank you. What's your name, please?
And Leroy Parker.
And Mr. Parker, are you presently, I guess, for lack of a better expression, retired and enjoying the good life?
Correct, sir.
Have you previously worked with the Florida Department of Law Enforcement?
Yeah, I worked with the FDLE, Abbreviation for Florida Department of Law Enforcement, for about 33 years and 2 months and a couple of weeks.
And tell the jury specifically the various areas of work that you engaged in while with the Florida Department of Law Enforcement.
With FDLE, I did gunshot residue analysis, blood sample analysis, shooting reconstruction, major crime scenes, and officer-involved shootings.
And you mentioned shooting reconstruction?
That's correct, sir.
Tell the jury what is shooting reconstruction.
Shooting reconstruction is going to the crime scene, documenting the bullet holes, and reconstructing the scene as to where the shooter was at the time of the shooting, and in some cases where the victim was when he or she was shot.
And tell well, let me withdraw part of the shooting reconstruction, does the shooting reconstruction analysis encompass the path or trajectory or the origination point and the termination point of the projectile?
That's correct, sir. It does encompasses all of that, because we normally try to determine the path of the projectile, and we can do that by the impact sites. So it does encompass that, and that's basically the more important thing in shooting reconstruction.
And tell the jury, and you've kind of done it in a general way already, but let me ask you just to be a little more specific now. Tell the jury your training, your education, your experience in the field of shooting reconstruction analysis.
I started, I graduated from the University of the U.S. Virgin Islands in St. Thomas, did biology. I started with FDLE in 1980, went through the training program, which was 400 hours of crime scene procedures. Since then, I've been to several classes at the FBI Academy and other agencies. I've been doing shooting reconstruction for a lot of years. I've been teaching shooting reconstruction for a lot of years also. I've done a lot of cases. As a matter of fact, I did just about all the cases that FDLE did. And that encompasses the entire state of Florida. So if there was a shooting reconstruction in Hillsborough County, Key West, or Tallahassee, I was the one who did it. I still get involved. I teach classes, and in July, I did a class for the Attorney General's Office of Ohio. I did a shooting reconstruction, a 40-hour block in shooting reconstruction, and that included the state agency and the local police department. And next week, I'm headed back up to Columbus and do a class on the bloodstain pattern analysis. So I still keep involved in that. In order to do the teaching, I've written a book on how the shooting reconstruction bloodstain should be done, and I use that text to teach the classes, and those two books have been officially published.
And have you testified as an expert in the field of shooting reconstruction?
I have in just about every county in the state of Florida, because, as I said, FDLE covers the state of Florida in some agencies. Some aspects of crime scene. Orlando was the only lab that did the bloodstain and the shooting reconstruction. So the last time I testified, for example, was in Key West on a bloodstain case. So I have testified on the shooting reconstruction probably over 200 times.
Now, did I ask you to do some work or analysis in this case?
That's correct, sir.
And specifically, what did I ask you to do? What was the objective or the goal of your work in this particular case?
The initial request was to determine if the projectile was deflected on its path through the vehicle. And in reality, one cannot determine if it was deflected. But even if it was deflected, it would make no difference in the reconstruction, because once it leaves the medium, which in this case was the window, it travels in a straight line to the final destination. In this case, it impacted the headliner, so we had two impact sites, the headliner and the final resting place in the roof. And so instead of doing deflection, we just determined the path of the projectile and determined if it was consistent with being made when the window was in upright position, that is, the window was closed.
Okay, so let me ask you, did you, per my request, did you conduct that analysis?
Yeah, I did the analysis. I looked at the photographs.
So that's my next question. Tell the jury all the materials, all the information that you received, whether it be photographs, reports. Do you know who Ed Bigley is?
Oh, yeah, I know. I've known Ed Bigley for a lot of years.
Conversations or discussions or consultations with Ed Bigley, whatever information that you received as an expert in this area to make your conclusion. What information did you receive?
Okay, after I spoke to you, I stopped by Ed Bigley's office and I got his report. I got a copy of each one of the photographs he's taken from you. I went over his photographs and went over his documentation to get some heights, that is the height of the impact site, and did a reconstruction, mathematically calculate to see if the path was consistent with the projectile passing through the window, and it was consistent. His determination of the path of the projectile was a 10-degree upward angle. My calculation turned out to be 9.38, which is 9.4 degrees. So we were off by 0.6 degrees, which is very much accepted in this field. So I've done the reconstruction. I've looked at his photographs to see how he placed the dowel rod in there, in the hole. He got the best fitting dowel rod, projected backward, and it lined up with the window in an upright position.
So your conclusion in this case with respect to whether the window was up or down when the bullet impacted it, what is that conclusion?
I'm totally convinced that the window had to be in upright position at the time the projectile impacted the window.
Cross?
Thank you. Mr. Parker,
Yes, sir.
did they ever ask you to analyze or check out a hidden compartment under the console in that car?
No, sir.
And of course, you're paid to be here, is that correct?
That's correct, sir.
And how much has the state paid you to be here today? And to look at the case and from, when you first started to today?
I haven't determined that yet, sir.
Your invoice is still going to be generated and given to them, is that correct?
That's correct, sir.
Do you bill by the hour?
That's correct, sir.
And how much is that?
About $2.25 an hour.
Where do you think you're at?
Maybe 15 hours or so.
Around $3 grand?
Yeah, if you multiply that by 15, yeah, you should be.
Any redirect?
No, Your Honor.
May Mr. Parker be excused?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you very much, sir. You are excused. Call your next witness, please.
Mike Biles, Captain Michael Biles.
You may proceed.
What's your name, please?
Mike Biles.
And can you please spell your last name for the
Sure.
record?
Sure. B-I-L-E-S.
And it's not evident, let me ask you, what is your occupation?
I'm a police officer and currently a captain,
With what agency?
Lake Mary Police Department.
And Captain Biles, let me direct your attention to May 12th of 2015 and ask you if you participated, if you assisted in an investigation concerning a shooting that took place on Lake Mary Boulevard the previous day.
Yes, I did.
And tell the jury, in general, I'm going to ask you a couple more specific questions, but in general, what was your participation?
Well, as a captain, well, at the time I was a lieutenant. My job was basically just to oversee the investigation, be informed of the investigation, make sure that my officers and detectives were doing, what they needed to be doing, and also transfer information up to my bosses.
But specifically on May 12th, did you do any analysis on the, Honda, a 2008 Honda Ridgeline, right, the impound lot in Lake Mary?
Yes.
And specifically, what was that analysis or the work that you did?
Well, I was present during the search warrant that was served on that vehicle, but specifically, we checked that vehicle, basically the window tint.
That's exactly what my question is. Did you actually perform the window tint testing?
I did.
And what device do you use in conducting that window tint testing?
That particular day, I used a laser lab. It's a TM100.
That's the model TM100?
Yes, sir.
And is that particular model approved by the Florida Department of Highway Safety and Motor Vehicles?
Yes.
And tell the jury exactly what you did with that tint meter in order to test the tint on the Honda Ridgeline.
Okay. This particular device just slides over the window once the window is just a few inches down. So it gives you a digital readout of the actual tint. And, I don't know if it was myself or one of the other officers, we brought the windows down to a point where we could test them. And that's exactly what I did. I slid that tint meter over the top of the window and, read what the number was there.
And the window has to be down in order to conduct that test?
For that particular meter, yes.
And explain why so? Why must the window be down?
Well, it has to be down. It has a groove on it that it sits on the window itself when the window's in a like a midway down position. So you have to be able to slide it onto the top of the window.
Okay. And were you able to do a tint test on the front passenger side window? The front?
No.
And why not?
That window wouldn't roll down. When we started to try to make it roll down, it seemed like the integrity of the window was coming apart. Shards of glass were breaking.
So you couldn't roll it down?
Right. Physically, it seemed like it almost locked.
Okay. And but the other three windows, and when I refer to the other three windows, I'm referring to the driver's side front window, the driver's side rear window, and the passenger's side rear window. Were those three windows tested?
Yes.
And tell the jury what the results of that test is.
The
Your Honor, could I just for Dyer for one question?
Yes, you may.
Sorry to interrupt. Captain Biles, is there some sort of certification for the operator of the tint meter?
No. I'm not aware of any certification.
Okay, thank you. Your Honor, I have any more.
Thank you.
Are you aware, and I'm going to get back to the question I just asked a second ago, but are you aware of any requirement that there be a certification?
I'm not.
Okay.
I can speak on our particular training, but
Okay. Back to my question. Can you please tell the jury the results? And if you can go window by window, please, and tell the jury the results of the testing.
yeah, front driver's side window 3%. The back two windows for both passengers in the back would have been 4%.
And tell the jury, what does that mean? You know what that means?
Yeah, I mean, 100% of light would pass through a completely clear glass. So this allows 97% of the light to be passed out if the window comes in at 3%. Basically, 3% of the light is being emitted through the glass.
Only 3%. So
Right.
97% of the light is not going.
That's
through the
right.
glass. How many years have you been a police officer?
17 and 1 month with the city of Lake Mary, and I also worked about 4.5 years in South Florida prior to that.
What is and based upon that, based upon your years of experience as a police officer, and let me ask you, I hate to ask this question, but have you given out citations for illegal tint?
Yes, I have.
Do Do you know what the limit is, the legal limit in Florida?
Yeah, it varies per window, but in the state of Florida, you have to be able to allow 28% of light to come through a window. That reading needs to be at 28% on the front driver and front passenger window. As you move, an SUV, as you move back to the rear windows of a vehicle, it's 15% on the rear passenger windows, as well as the rear glass of a sedan or whatever type of SUV. The very rear glass would need to be also at 15%.
Okay. Thank you very much. I have no further questions.
Okay, Cross?
Captain Miles,
Yes, sir.
so just on the map, the window that blocks 72% of the light is, of course, legal.
Is legal.
I'm just
Yeah.
taking 100% minus 28. But
The-
you're welcome.
That window would block out, 28% would block out 72% of the light coming in.
Okay, thanks. I don't have to-
Thank you. Any redirect?
No, Your Honor.
May Captain Biles be excused?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you very much, sir. You are
Yes, ma'am.
excused. Call your next witness.
State arrest, Your Honor.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we need to take up a few matters outside your presence, so if you'll please put your notepad face down and follow Deputy Dennis back into the jury room.
Your Honor, at this time the defense would move for a motion of judgment of acquittal. First, with regard to count one, attempted second-degree murder, that the state has not produced a prima facie case of guilt. There is certainly a body of case law and within the jury instruction itself that, if the incident arises from sudden combat, that it would not be a second-degree murder. I will say that the court is, of course, evaluating these facts in the light most favorable to the state. So if I can say Mr. Stone, or I can anticipate Mr. Stone's argument that, Mr. Zimmerman and Mr. Apperson are supposed to have previous money for a previous money, possibly two. The other grounds that I have would be with regard to count three, which is aggravated assault. I know Mr. Zimmerman said that he was not in peer review. I don't know what he said about peer review U-turn, but I'll retract that argument. I believe that he did say at one point that he was scared of police officers, so that would satisfy the fear element. So with regard to counts 2 and 3, I simply generically for a judgment of acquittal that the state has not proven its case by pure confrontation.
Without the necessity of having to hear from the state, I'll go and deny your motions.
Thanks.
Okay, do you have any witnesses that you're going to be calling?
Your Honor, what I'd like to do is, for some reason, I anticipated most of my witnesses coming at 1:30 in the afternoon. However, I do have one, and that would be Mr. Apperson, who's asked to take a bathroom break.
Okay, let me first, before we do that, Mr. Apperson, I need to advise you that you do have the right to remain silent. That means during this trial, you do not have to say anything. But you can testify if you want to. Have you had an opportunity to talk to Mr. LaFay about whether or not you want to testify in this case?
Yes, Your Honor.
Without telling me anything that occurred during that conversation, based upon that conversation, have you made a decision?
I have.
Okay, and what is that decision, sir?
I decided to go ahead and testify.
Okay, has anybody made any promises to you in order to get you to make that decision?
No, Your Honor.
Has anybody threatened you?
Not at all.
You're doing it freely and voluntarily.
True.
Okay, then we'll go ahead and take a recess so you may use the facilities, and then we'll bring him up into the witness stand, okay? Court will be in recess.
Thank you, Your Honor. I'm going to step out, contact my office with regard to witness coordination. About how long is our recess?
10 minutes.
Thank you, Judge.
sure it's downstairs in the library. I don't have it, I'm sorry. All right. It basically says if the defendant knows or reasonably believes that the victim or the named victim commits specific acts of violence, you may consider that in determining whether or not a reasonable person. Right.
That's exactly what I'm, whether or not it was reasonable and, using, the brief force or whatever.
Right. I mean, it's pretty much patterned after the standard. Right.
Right, just switch out reputation.
Specific acts.
Specific acts.
Yes. But I'll show you what that's pretty much just a couple of lines.
I'm aware, trying to get him there one vote. George will be here to weigh in as his messy self.
Do you think there's any chance of closing arguments today?
I'm not going to do that.
Okay.
Remain seated, court's back in session.
Okay, are we ready to bring the jury in? Okay, Mr. Apperson, when the jury comes in, I'm going to ask you to stand up and raise your right hand to be sworn, okay?
Okay.
All right, thank you. Keep it there, you can read it. Thank you, T.
Sort of the same thing. It says there was only one 911 call in this case. I did the same thing. I didn't get that one.
Jurors are present.
Please be seated. Mr. Apperson, if you please stand up, face the clerk, raise your right hand to be sworn.
I do.
Okay, please be seated. Mr. LaFay, you may proceed.
Thank you. Tell us your name, please.
Matthew Apperson.
And, Mr. Apperson, let me ask you some questions about, where'd you grow up?
Grew up here in Central Florida, in Seminole County, Lake Mary, Sanford area.
And where'd you go to high school?
High school here in Sanford, Seminole High.
Did you go to college?
Yeah, I did some college studying music up in Jacksonville, University of North Florida and Florida Community College at Jacksonville.
Now, let me ask you, in the last several years, where have you been working?
Been working at a family business, W.K. White and Associates.
So what does that business do?
We represent people whom are trying to get on Social Security, disability, and SSI benefits.
And are you married?
I am.
How long?
Been married for the past 12 years.
Is your wife here?
She is.
Your mother here?
She is.
Let me ask you something about your job at W.K. White.
Sure.
Are there cash deposits as well as check and other money instruments that you got to take to the bank?
Definitely. We have cash, checks, money orders.
So, at
I do the majority of the bank deposits, be it ATM or teller.
Now, because you do that, do you typically have a firearm in your car?
I do.
Is that the .357 pistol that we see here today?
It is.
And let me ask you also, Mr. Apperson, do you have a permit to carry a concealed firearm?
Yes, I do.
Now, I want to direct your attention to September the 9th, 2014.
Okay.
So, did you see or come to interact with a person that you now know as George Zimmerman on Lake Mary Boulevard?
Yes.
All right, well, first let me ask you, on that day, what were you doing on Lake Mary Boulevard? Where were you going? What were you doing? Where were you driving?
I was leaving from my office, headed to get a cup of coffee from one of the convenience stores. I don't know if it was 7-Eleven, maybe Circle K. But
So, what's the first thing that happened with regard to Mr. Zimmerman and his car?
I'm driving westbound on Lake Mary Boulevard, just past Waymont Court, which is where my office is located. And I realized that there was a truck. I was in the right lane of the road. There was a truck in the left lane that was matching my speed and keeping up with me, and it just seemed odd. There was a red light ahead, and traffic was pretty heavy, so as I stopped in traffic, I noticed this truck.
Let me stop you there, Mr. Apperson. Were you, or had you been doing anything in your car with your hands?
I was listening to music, kind of singing to myself and tapping on my steering wheel like so. Yeah,
Is that what is known as air drumming?
I guess it would be, yes. Yes.
So, you're at the light, what happens there?
Well, I noticed a guy hanging out of the passenger window of this truck that's next to me. Again, I'm in the right lane, this truck's in the left. Trying to get my attention, it seemed. I had my window up. First, I just wanted to ignore him and think nothing of it, but after a few seconds, I thought, let me see what these people want. So I lowered my window.
When you lowered your window, was there any words exchanged between you and the occupants of the truck?
Yeah, the passenger of the truck is kind of screaming at me, kind of yelling at me at this point, going, "Hey, what are you pointing your finger at? What the hell are you doing?" And I said, "Excuse me, I'm minding my own damn business. Leave me alone."
Did Mr. Zimmerman, or did the driver, you talked about the passenger, did the driver come into the conversation?
I saw the driver lean over to look at me. He says, "Hey, don't you know who the fuck I am?" I realized at that moment, it took me a couple seconds, but I said, "This is George Zimmerman."
Had you seen Mr. Zimmerman's face in the news or on TV or in the papers or what have you over the years prior to this?
Oh, certainly.
So, when Mr. Zimmerman announced himself, what did you say to him after a couple seconds and you recognized him?
After he made that comment, I said, "What are you going to do? Are you going to shoot me like you shot that little kid?" I was kind of upset.
And did that, when you said that, Mr. Apperson, what effect did that seem to have on Mr. Zimmerman?
Oh, he went to a rage. He said, "Fuck you. That's it. You're dead. I'm going to kill you."
So, what did you do?
At this point, the light's starting to turn green. Traffic's now starting to move. I said, "Wow, I said to myself, this is kind of crazy. Let me go ahead and proceed on to where I'm going." So I started driving forward.
Let me stop you. At any time at this light, did you see a firearm? And I'm speaking about the truck. Did anybody, did you see a firearm at all within the truck?
Not at all, no.
So, okay, so you continue on, as you say, towards, would this be going towards I-4?
Yes, yes.
All right, so what did the truck do?
As soon as I moved forward and there was enough space behind me for any car to get behind me, he immediately switched from the left lane into the right lane and got behind me, started following me.
What did you do?
I just continued to drive straight. I figured, let me get to my destination.
And did you, or where did you go?
I ended up going to the Circle K, the BP gas station.
Your Honor, I have defense one in my hand. I'm going to put that on the overhead. Is that, are you able to see that?
Yes,
Is that this Circle K right here?
it is.
Also with BP pumps?
Correct.
Okay, so when you went into the BP Circle K, what were your reasons for going in there?
I was just wanting to get a cup of coffee, and also I was trying to turn off and get away from this person that was following me.
All right, so where did you place your car when you got to the Circle K?
In the parking spaces, right in front of the store, right in front of the Circle K, about midway, about center,
Stop my pen.
right there.
Okay, right up in front of the entrance?
Yeah.
Now, as you were there, did you see Mr. Zimmerman?
Yeah, I saw his truck pull in after me, and rather than parking out a parking space, he pulled in behind me in my parking space, blocking me in.
Did he say anything? Did you say anything to him? Did he say anything to you?
I said something probably to the effect of, what the hell are you doing? What's going on here? Why are you messing with me? And I'm sure there was some cuss words exchanged back and forth.
Did Mr. Zimmerman threaten you?
He said, by the way, I am going to kill you. I'm going to shoot you just like I shot Trayvon.
Did he mention Black Lives Matter?
He said something about, you're a BLM supporter.
And what did you do to end this?
I went inside immediately and called 911.
Did you have your cell phone with you?
No, I had left it at my office.
So what did you do?
Well, I had the clerk, I instructed the clerk to please call 911 for me.
Now, I need to ask you something. First, when you went into the store, what were your emotions?
I was upset and I was surely scared.
Did you immediately go to the clerk and ask the clerk to call 911, or was there any delay in that?
None whatsoever.
And did the clerk immediately do that?
Yes.
Did you get on the phone with the police?
Yes.
When you did that, were you still scared and frightened?
Oh, yes.
Was that the reason you were calling the police?
Definitely.
I'm going to show you what's been marked as defense D for identification. Is this a recording that you have reviewed, and does it bear your initials?
Yes. Yes.
Is it true and accurate, and does it accurately reflect your conversation with the Lake Mary Police Department on September the 9th of 2014 at the Circle K?
It does.
Your Honor, at this time, the defense would introduce what is D.
Defendant, any objections?
No, Your Honor.
D will come in as Defense Exhibit 3. computer here sometimes doesn't work. Try it.
Well, that's going on. I'm going to get a backup going.
Okay. Sometimes it just isn't compatible. I don't know why. Got something up there too, so I don't know.
Lake Mary Police, the line's recorded. This is Lindsay.
Hi, I'm at 4410 West Lake Mary Boulevard. I've got a customer here who'd like to make a police report. Yeah, he'd like to...
Okay, and what's it in reference to? What happened?
I guess he got threatened by somebody. I'm not really sure.
I'm sorry, she got what?
I'm not really sure. He's kind of excited.
Okay, was there an accident, or was there... You have no idea what's going on?
Not really, no. But,
Okay, is the customer inside the store?
He is.
Is it okay to speak to him?
Yeah, there he is.
Okay.
Hello?
Hello, sir. This is Lindsay with the Lake Mary Police Department. The line's recorded. Tell me why you need an officer. What happened?
Okay, I was simply driving down Lake Mary Boulevard, left my work to get a cup of coffee here, and I noticed a Honda Ridgeline on Lake Mary Boulevard that was going the same rate of speed as I, and rolled their window down. I then rolled my window down, and there was a passenger going, "Hey, what's your problem? Why are you shaking your finger?" I said, "Excuse me?" I was in my car, laughing to myself with my windows up, and I looked over, and then George Zimmerman was the driver, and they were threatening to kick my ass and to shoot me. I said, "What are you going to do, shoot me? I'm not messing with that."
Okay, and you know this was George Zimmerman?
Oh, for a fact. And I'm on the Ridgeline with a telephone. So I have no cell phone, I proceeded to the nearest gas station where I could use the phone. He then came up in his Ridgeline, this would be on camera, towards my car, almost hit my car in aggressive mood, and so he's going to shoot me dead.
And when did this happen?
Just now.
And is he still
I
there?
had to use the phone. They peeled off. I got out of my car and used the phone, called the police, and they peeled off. They took it in reverse and peeled off. And
what color Honda was it? Gold?
It's a gold.
Did you happen to get a tag?
I did not get a tag. It's got a Kel-Tec sticker on the left, driver's side.
A Kel-Tec?
K-E-L-T-E-C, Kel-Tec. It's a manufacturer of a gun.
Kel-Tec, okay, and it was on the back driver's side?
Yes. And George Zimmerman was the driver, and there's a unknown Hispanic male passenger. Both of them threatening to shoot me and kill me.
Okay. Okay, sir, what kind of vehicle do you have?
I'm in a 2012 Honda Accord, black, two-door, and I'm parked at the Circle K here. I just went to the nearest place where I could use a phone.
And just confirming, you didn't see a gun or anything. This was just verbally voiced to you. Is that correct?
That's all verbal. He did not flash a gun.
Okay.
And
I'm sorry, was George Zimmerman driving?
Yes, he was. And he was following me. I was trying to just, leave him alone, get out of their way, and they followed me and followed me. So I turned into this gas station. That's when they made an aggressive move. Came in with their truck like they were going to block me in. I got out hastily to run and call you guys, and they peeled off.
Okay, sir, I have an officer on the way to you. What's your name?
Okay, thank you so much.
What's your name, sir?
Oh, my name is Matt, M-A-T-T.
And what's your phone number in case I need to call you back?
This is,
oh, you don't have a phone. You're calling.
I really wish I would have.
Okay, not a problem.
Everything.
Not a problem. May I go ahead and speak back to the employee there? And if you'll go ahead, if you feel comfortable with going to wait by your vehicle, I have an officer on the way to you. If not, you can wait in the store. It's up to you.
Okay. I'll be out.
Okay? Okay, let me go ahead and talk to the employee. Thank you.
Thanks.
Hi there, sir. What's the callback number for your business?
It was replaying. Thank you. Thank you. Doing the machine, so I'm going to ask Deputy Dennis. Mr. Apperson, did you speak to the police that day?
I did.
Did you, what was your decision about pressing charges or having Mr. Zimmerman arrested?
Well, like I said on the call, I didn't get the tag number, so the police officer told me then I couldn't positively, legally identify that as Mr. Zimmerman. I didn't want, with that, knowing who that was, I didn't want to get involved with anything.
Did you want any publicity?
Not at all.
Did that factor into your decision?
Definitely. I thought, let me just make a report of this, a general report, and not file any charges per se.
Now, let me ask you this, though. After all of this happened, and I'm speaking about this very day, September the 9th, what did you think about it?
I thought it was nuts. I mean, here I am minding my own business, and out of nowhere, I got this frankly, a nut job, following me and threatening to shoot me.
Did you, based on what had happened to you that day and your knowledge, did you consider Mr. Zimmerman to be capable?
Certainly. I considered him to be dangerous. Yeah. Bluntly, I thought he was dangerous. I knew he was dangerous. I knew he was capable of carrying out the threats that he made. Yeah.
Did you know anything about Mr. Zimmerman and the Trayvon Martin case?
Yeah. I mean, I know that he followed this kid. Was told to stand down and didn't, and ended up shot him in the chest and killed him.
To your knowledge, did Mr. Martin have, the 17-year-old, did he have any weapons?
No, he was unarmed.
And of course, at this point, did you know anything about Mr. Zimmerman and an arrest with regard to his girlfriend?
Yeah, I knew after the Trayvon Martin acquittal that he had gotten into an argument with this girlfriend, or ex-girlfriend, and she was unarmed, and he pointed a gun at her.
Your Honor, can we approach the
Yes.
objection? Objection is relevance, but can we approach?
Yes.
told us that you knew these things about Mr. Zimmerman on September 11, 2014. My question to you is, these violent things that you knew about Mr. Zimmerman, did you forget about any of them? Did you still know about them on May the 11th of 2015? That is this case.
Certainly, yeah.
So, now I need to ask you this. After September the 9th, did there come a period of, and you had filed the police report, did there come a time when you were visited by the FBI?
Yes, there was.
Was that with regard to Mr. Zimmerman?
Yes, it was.
Now, did the FBI tell you what they were investigating Mr. Zimmerman for?
You know, it was something about him harassing other people. That's about the extent of my knowledge on that.
But did they go into any chapter and verse? Did they tell you what their investigation was about?
Not particularly.
So, being visited by the FBI with regard to Mr. Zimmerman, what did that do to your level of apprehension about him?
It probably heightened it a bit. You know, here there's federal investigators, you know, interviewing me about what this guy is doing to me and other people.
Did you think that he may have done something else for the federal authorities to be looking at?
I thought it was possible, yeah. I just didn't know.
Now I just want to go back to September of 2014. In September of 2014, 2 days later, 2 days after this incident at the Circle K, did you come to see that same truck at the very place where you come and go to work?
Yes, I made a right-hand turn on to Waymont Court from Lake Mary Boulevard into my office complex and saw his truck in a parking space, and it just really didn't settle well with me.
So when you saw the truck, first let me ask you, did you want any kind of confrontation or trouble with Mr. Zimmerman?
Not at all. I kept driving past it.
And did you call the police?
Yes.
What did you want the police to do, if anything?
No, I just wanted them to come check the situation out. Here it is 48 hours after this guy threatened to kill me, and, you know, he's right next to my office and my office complex.
Did the police do that?
Yes.
After the police checked it out, did you speak to one of the officers?
I did.
What did they tell you?
You know, they said he wasn't doing anything illegal, wasn't breaking any laws, and I agree with that. I said, okay.
So, in that conversation, did the topic of whether or not Mr. Zimmerman had a firearm or a gun, did that come up?
Later on that afternoon at my office, I was speaking with an officer, and he mentioned, hey, you know, be careful. This guy had a gun on him when we pulled him over.
So now I want to go forward, Mr. Apperson. We've been speaking about September of 2014. I want to go to May the 11th of 2015, this case. On May the 11th, were you working that day?
I was.
And I want to talk to you about lunch. Typically, when is lunch at your job?
Around noon, from noon to 1.
So, at lunchtime, what did you do?
I went and got some lunch for my mother. I ran through the Taco Bell drive-thru, got her some food to eat, came back to the office, dropped it off for her.
And after you did that, what did you decide to do?
Well, I was having some low back pain. I've got some spinal conditions. I went to go try to take some medicine, realized I didn't have it at my office. I'd left it at my house, so I realized I had about just enough time to get to my house and back and grab my medication.
Did you do that?
Yes.
Okay, so on your, when you got your pain medication, and did you then start driving back to the office?
I did, yes.
Now, to get back to the office, does that put you on Lake Mary Boulevard?
It does.
If I could take my room. To get back to your office, and Your Honor, just for record purposes, I have States 1. To get back to your office, and we're looking in the area of Waymart Court here, is that where your office is?
Yes.
So which way were you going on Lake Mary Boulevard?
I was headed westbound, coming from Longwood Lake Mary Road. So to get to Waymart,
This way?
yes.
And to get to your office when you're going westbound, what do you have to do?
Got to make that U-turn right there.
Is that here?
Yes. And start heading eastbound again and make an
That
immediate.
puts you back at Waymart Court?
Exactly. Yep.
So, just as you were completing the U-turn, did you have a change of plan?
Yeah. I really wanted to get some cigarettes. I really didn't have much time. And noticed I had to be back at work in 10 minutes or less, but I wanted to grab some cigarettes from the convenience store.
And let's just take a moment here, Mr. Apperson. You're a smoker?
Yes.
In May of 2015, just at this time, were you making any efforts to stop smoking?
I was trying to quit. I was chewing nicotine gum at the time, trying my best to quit.
Did you have a relapse at this point?
I did. I thought, hey, let me go grab some cigarettes. I'm breaking down here.
So, when you went, as you started going eastbound on Lake Mary after your first U-turn, where did you decide to go to get cigarettes?
I thought, let me get to the nearest store here. Again, I'm pressed for time. And so that would have been 7-Eleven on Reinhardt Road. So I decided to make a U-turn to get back again going westbound to get to that store.
And again, looking at States 1, here you made the U-turn here. Your next U-turn opportunity, would that be here,
Exactly.
right across from the post office?
Correct.
As you went eastbound after and decided not to go back to your office, did you see a car in front of you?
I did. I noticed a Honda Ridgeline.
When you saw the Honda Ridgeline, what did you do to see whose car it was?
It looked somewhat familiar to me, and I thought, let me check and see if it's got this back sticker, this Keltec sticker, to see if this is George Zimmerman's. I think I know this car.
How did you do that?
I got up kind of close to it, kind of close to his bumper to be able to read the back sticker on the left-hand portion of his back window.
When that happened, when you got up close to look at this to see if you could determine what the sticker was, what did the truck do?
He braked really hard, kind of brake checked me. Of course, I had to brake, and I ended up honking at him.
after you honked, then what happened?
We're getting into the U-turn lane at this point, and I could see him kind of looking at me out of his window, sticking his head out a little bit.
And you said he was looking at you. Were any words, was there any conversation, yelling, what have you, going back and forth?
Right. He was yelling something. I couldn't really tell, but I was angry. I said, "You remember me, you fat motherfucker? You owe me one. I didn't press any charges against you."
What did he say, if anything?
It was just fuck you back. It was just cussing, generalized cussing.
During this exchange, did Mr. Zimmerman threaten you in any way?
Yeah. He said, "I'm going to kill you."
Now, you're at the U-turn. Did the turn happen, did Mr. Zimmerman turn immediately, or was there a delay?
It was a delay. Traffic was all clear, and I was expecting him to go, and he just wasn't.
What did you think when Mr. Zimmerman was just sitting there?
I thought he's just trying to be difficult at this moment,
So, did he turn?
Yeah, he eventually made the turn.
What did you do?
I did the same. Traffic was clear, so I went ahead and turned onto Lake Mary Boulevard.
Right at that U-turn, right when Mr. Zimmerman turned and you turned, about how fast was he going?
Slow. 5 to 10 miles an hour. Again, trying to be difficult.
What did you think about being behind Mr. Zimmerman at this point?
I didn't like it. And I didn't want him to think I was following him. So I thought, hey, let me just pass him and get away from him.
Did you consider it to be dangerous going 5 miles an hour on Lake Mary Boulevard and being in the oncoming traffic?
Yeah, I just didn't feel comfortable with it. Wanted to get past him.
Let me ask you, Mr. Apperson, did you have a firearm in your car?
I did.
Where was it?
It was just to the right of my leg, in between the seat and the console right there.
You told us that Mr. Zimmerman was going slowly. And what did you decide to do?
I decided to get in the right-hand lane and make the pass, get away from him.
As you got in the right-hand lane, did his truck continue to go 5 or 10 miles an hour, or did it do something else?
No, he started accelerating, basically trying to match my speed.
So, what did you do?
I grabbed my firearm. I looked over to his vehicle.
Is this when you were right next to him?
Yes. When I was just a little bit behind him, still coming alongside of his vehicle, I looked over and I could, at this point, clearly seeing the cabin of his truck. The sunlight was coming through the front windshield.
Was there a passenger?
No, clearly nobody else but him in the vehicle.
So, were you able to see within the truck to determine whether or not there was a passenger?
Yes,
And again, you told us that there wasn't.
exactly.
What did you see as you came up?
First thing I saw was a little movement, caught my eye, but I clearly saw his arm outreached with a gun pointed at my direction, at my car.
When you saw that, what did you do?
I didn't know what was going to happen. I didn't know if he was just going to roll down the window and fire through the window. I said, hey, I've got to protect myself. I pointed my gun and I shot.
Did you, before you saw the firearm, or before you saw Mr. Zimmerman's arm with the pistol, had you grabbed or picked up your firearm
little bit, just a little bit prior.
Why is that?
You know, he had yelled, "I'm going to kill you," back at the U-turn lane. And so here I am coming up next to him. I was a little apprehensive. I didn't know what was happening.
When you saw the pistol, how much time passed between when you saw the pistol, when you were beside him, and when you fired?
It was so quick. There was really not much of any time. It was so quick.
At that time, when you were passing him, Mr. Apperson, passing Mr. Zimmerman, how close was his car to yours?
It seemed like he even swerved over closer towards me. Very close, very close. It's hard for me to say in terms of distance, but very close.
Are you able to tell us? You told us it happened very quickly. Can you give us any time estimation? Split seconds, what happened?
These are split seconds we're talking about here.
When you saw Mr. Zimmerman's pistol inside the truck, what in those split seconds did you feel?
I was scared to death. I thought I was going to get shot dead right there. I mean,
After you fired, where did you go? What did you do?
I said, let me get somewhere where I can call 911. I immediately made another U-turn because I'm, at this point, basically right in front of Waymont Court. So I made the U-turn that was just to my left.
Where was your cell phone?
My cell phone was at my office.
Did you want to call the police?
Immediately.
What did you do to make that happen?
Well, turned into my office complex, thinking about going to my office and using the phone to call 911, but I saw somebody walking at the entrance of Bay Tree Center, which is on Waymont Court. And I yelled, I screamed, I said, "Hey, please call 911.
Was that the first person that you had seen?
First person.
Were you upset?
I was upset. I was scared.
And when you say you were scared, was that from Mr. Zimmerman's pistol?
Yeah, I just had a gun pointed right at my face.
Did the person that you saw, did that person use his phone to call 911?
Yes, he did. He asked me, said, "I'm not going to give you my phone until you tell me your name, and I'm going to call for you." I said, "Please do."
And did that person, or was this almost immediately after this happened?
Immediately, yes.
At the time, or let me ask you, did there come a time when the person handed you the phone and you got on the phone with 911?
Yeah.
And at that time, were you still upset and scared from what had happened?
Oh, certainly. Certainly. My hands were still shaking.
Were you upset that you had to fire your weapon?
Yeah, I'd never had to do anything like that before.
I'm going to show you what's been marked as E for identification. Do you recognize this? Have you reviewed it, and does it bear your initials?
Yes. Yes.
Does it truly and accurately reflect the conversation with 911 on May the 11th, 2015?
Yes, it does.
At this time, Your Honor,
Any objections?
No objection, but can we approach, Your Honor?
Okay, E will come in as defense exhibit may do so.
No, I'm doing paramedical. This is Seminole with a transfer for 101 Waymont Court.
Yeah, hello?
Yes, how can I help you, sir?
Yeah, a guy was saying he had to pull a gun on a guy and shoot him, so he just wanted the police to come.
Okay. I'm also working on radio. Bear with me just 1 second, okay? You said...
Hello?
Ma'am? I'm sorry about that. I'm also watching the radio, okay? So bear with me a second. You said you saw what?
No, a guy right here just said he had to shoot at someone through his window, so he wants the police to come.
That he saw shoot somebody out of his window?
The what?
Okay, say that again. He saw what?
He had to shoot at somebody.
Is he there with you right now? He's there with you right now, sir?
Yeah, the guy, he just with it, yeah. He said he had to shoot at...
Okay. And you're at 101 Waymont Court?
Yes.
What business is that?
It's, he's kind of outside on the street. He's just standing out here.
What kind of car is he driving?
He's driving an Infiniti. He said he had this, it was George Zimmerman. He pulled a gun on him. It was like the third time, so he fired back.
Give me 1 second, sir.
All right. He's not transferring it.
Do you get the license plate for that vehicle where he's at? Where he's at?
You want his license plate? I'm going to just give him your license plate. Is that cool? All right, I'm just trying to keep out of trouble.
Is that him? Is that him that you're talking to?
Yeah.
Okay, let me talk to him, please.
It's CKL.
Uh-huh.
G88. He said it's not his first run-in with you guys. He's been talking to you guys. His name's Matt Apperson.
Can I talk to him, please?
Yeah, you're sure to talk to us.
Thanks.
Hello there.
Sir, you said you shot somebody?
I don't know if I shot somebody. I shot at George Zimmerman.
You shot at George Zimmerman?
Yes, he pulled a gun on me and I shot at him.
Give me 1 second, okay?
He should be calling this in the 911. I mean, I shot him right at him on Lake Mary Boulevard. He pulled a gun on me.
Okay. What's your name, sir?
Matthew Apperson. A-P-P-E-R-S-O-N. He road raged on me September of last year.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't post charges. No big deal. He threatened to kill me, this, that, and the other. 2 days later, he was waiting for me here at my office complex in Waymont Court with a gun. I didn't file charges. I didn't do anything. Just now,
Spell your
down Lake Mary Boulevard.
Spell your last name once again.
A-P-P-E-R-S-O-N.
Okay, I apologize. I'm also working on radio, so bear with me if I ask you the same questions over and over. It's possibly because I didn't hear the first time, okay? What's your phone number you're calling from?
I don't know the phone number simply because I don't have a cell phone. I stopped at the nearest place in my office complex to use somebody's phone.
And what's the business name where you're at?
The business name where I'm at is Lip.
The what?
It's Lip. I believe I see a police officer turning in right here.
Okay, go ahead and flag him down, okay?
I did.
Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Uh-huh. Mr. Apperson, did you remain there at your, basically in your office complex and wait for the police?
Yes.
And when they came,
Yes, I did.
Did you stay at that area with the police for a while, approximately an hour?
Yes, sir.
Did you make any statements to the police officers there at Waymark Court?
Yes, I did.
Did you in fact say to Officer Peets, this is the shit I'm trying to avoid, I don't need this?
Yes.
Did you say he pulled a gun?
Your Honor,
on you?
objection, leading and hearsay.
Sustained as to leading.
Did you tell Officer Peets, or what, if anything, did you say to Officer Peets about Mr. Zimmerman pulling a gun on you? Did you tell him that?
Objections, hearsay, the predicate hasn't been established. Excited utterance has not been established.
Okay. Ask it again, because well, not at that point, yes. Go ahead and ask it again.
Did you tell Officer Peets, or what, if anything, did you say to Officer Peets about Mr. Zimmerman pulling a gun on you?
Same objections, hearsay.
Please
So,
approach.
sir.
Please approach.
Mr. Apperson, without saying what you said, did you also speak to an officer by the name of Officer Powell?
Yes.
And on that very day, Mr. Apperson, did you go to the police station?
I did.
And there speak with Detective Hernandez?
Yes.
During that interview, you saw it played here, correct?
Yes.
Okay. You told Officer Detective Hernandez, and as well as you mentioned on the 911 call, that there had been 3 incidents of you and Mr. Zimmerman with guns. So let's go back. Why did you think that Mr. Zimmerman had a gun if you had not seen one back in September?
Because he said, I'm gonna shoot you. You know, he threatened to shoot me.
So with the threat, the shooting threat, did that make you think that he was capable and indeed had a gun to do that?
I certainly thought so.
2 days later, as you mentioned, you saw Mr. Zimmerman at your office. Was it your belief, based on the conversation you've already told us about, that he had a gun on that occasion as well?
Yes. Yes.
Let me ask you this question. Why did you pick up your firearm and shoot at Mr. Zimmerman? Why?
As I was in fear of my life.
Your Honor, I don't have any further questions.
Thank you, Cross. Yes, you may.
kind of bullets are these? These are your bullets, correct?
Yes.
What kind of bullets are they?
As far as brand, or
Are they hollow point bullets?
they are.
What are hollow point bullets?
Hollow point bullets are basically semi-hollow. They don't have a solid nose.
What are they designed to do?
They're designed to expand.
And inflict severe injury, correct?
They can.
They're pretty lethal bullets, aren't they?
Certainly.
Now, with regard to the September 9th incident, you tell us, you say that Mr. Zimmerman, you testified before that Mr. Zimmerman said, "I'm going to kill you," just like Trayvon. That's what you said he said?
That's what he said. Yes.
So he threatened your life, correct?
Correct.
And, but yet you didn't want to press charges?
I was told that I couldn't positively identify him because I didn't have a tag number, and I did not want to get involved with having my name out there in the media. So I thought, let me just report it, make a report, but not file charges. Yes.
But you didn't positively identify him. You knew who he was. So
I did.
you didn't want to go forward. You knew who he was, right?
Yeah.
You didn't need a license plate to identify him, right?
I just didn't want to get involved with his name and the media circus associated with it.
Even though he threatened your life? Yes?
Yes.
That certainly upset you. You were angry at him.
Well, yeah.
Of course.
Well, yeah.
Yes. Now, you told us that one of the things in your thought process was you knew about Mr. Zimmerman because you followed the Trayvon Martin trial, that you knew about Mr. Zimmerman from the Trayvon Martin trial, and that you knew from that trial that he followed Trayvon Martin and he shot an unarmed child, right?
Yes.
Well, you also knew that he was acquitted, right?
Correct.
You also knew that it was self-defense, correct? And he was acquitted, correct?
I know that was his claim. I don't really recall too many facts.
But you knew that also. Yeah, right?
I knew he was claiming self-defense in the situation.
Now, these incidents that you say you know about of Mr. Zimmerman, they're pretty important in your thought process on May 11th, correct? You thought about these things?
Certainly.
So they were pretty critical in your thought process about how you need to handle this situation, right?
Certainly.
And you, later on that day, you went to the Lakesbury Police Department, correct?
I did, yes.
You agreed and you gave a statement, correct?
Yes.
And we saw that statement, right? It was recorded, you were here, you watched it, right?
Correct.
And at that time, you claimed you were defending yourself, right?
Correct.
And you wanted to explain to Detective Hernandez why you thought you needed to defend yourself, correct?
That's true.
And that was you even said in that statement that it was much more detailed or involved than what you gave to the first responding officers of the Waymont Court, right?
It was more involved. Yeah, it was more detailed.
Okay. So it was important for you to get all the things out that you wanted Detective Hernandez to know about, correct?
I was speaking pretty fast. I was trying to give her as much info as possible.
Excuse me, Your Honor, I think it would be appropriate to approach at this point.
Is there an objection?
There shortly may be an objection in the motion.
Okay, approach. chair and follow Deputy Debs back into the jury room. Okay, so Mr. Stone, your argument is that you can then do the inquiry you want to, and Mr. LaFay, your argument is that it's not fair because Mr. Apperson didn't have the opportunity, enough time to give the information.
Not only that, Your Honor, but I buttress my precedent, and it certainly doesn't have some traction. Mr. Stone's argument have some traction if the questioner had said, well, you know what, why are you worried about him? What has he done in the past? Or what is in your mind that makes you think Mr. Zimmerman is a dangerous person? But those questions were never asked. It's basically...
Okay, what would be the difference if it were, I mean, because I've sat through cases that the interviews have been an hour or 2 hours long, and the defendant takes the stand and says something for the first time on the stand that wasn't provided to the law enforcement in that hour, 2-hour interview. And then on cross-examination, the explanation is given why, and sometimes it's as simple as they never asked. So what's the difference if Mr. Stone, if it's a 6-minute interview, for you to cross-examine or redirect your client on that issue?
Your Honor, just in this specific situation, my argument is that, you know, he's in there and, you know, speaking. I think he speaks for the entire time. Just about
Right. We have sometimes somebody will write a statement, and the testimony is they're given a piece of paper and a pen, and they're told to be comfortable at their own kitchen table and write in their own words what had occurred, and then at trial they bring in a fact that wasn't in that statement, and they're always cross-examined about that. Did you think it was important? How come you didn't put it in your statement? And then on redirect, they're given time to explain why. So I'm trying to see what would be the difference in what Mr. Stone's attempting to do and those other situations.
Not only, I mean, with regard to the FBI, Mr. Apperson did tell the police at the scene. He didn't.
Well, then you can talk to him about that and redirect. I think he's entitled to do that in his cross-examination, so any objection you have to that will be overruled.
Thank you, Your Honor. Just, again, for the record, I'm just objecting to comment on my client's right to remain silent, and also, under these circumstances, and only these circumstances, it would be a comment on his right to counsel, which was asserted unbeknownst to him by Mr. Duquesne. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Well, they're probably all using the bathroom. Does anybody, do you need to use the facilities?
No.
Okay. Anybody else? All right, let's just go ahead and bring them in.